Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 303, which is insane as we get to know so much more about the U20 World Cup. But we will also see a heated discussion between Igo and Buratsuta, but you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, please leave a like and a comment as well as join the Discord server. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So to begin chapter 303, with seeing a bunch of tweets about Isagi and Kaiser, not to mention that Blue Lock TV has passed 150 million subscribers, we then see Hirotoshi Buratsuta, the Japan Football Union chairman, who comes in rushing as he has a huge smile on his face as he screams economic results. He makes a slide celebration on the ground, probably thinking that he is as cold as Isagi is. But anyway, he screams 78 billion, which is probably the amount of revenue that they have made. And if that's correct, then it's totally insane. He then starts to beg towards the gods or something as he says that it's all thanks to Blue Lock TV and the Neo Egoist League, explaining that their subscriber count is skyrocketing and that their merch is flying off the shelves, not to mention how their relationship with PIFA is great. Buratsuta then starts to get money symbols for eyes, as he says that it's just like he thought, and that the superior ones get rich and that capitalism is the best, which is a bit wild, but sure. We then see Igo, who walks into the room and asks Buratsuta what he wants. He scratches his head and says that he is busy and asks Buratsuta to keep it brief. Buratsuta quickly slides over and tells Igo that this is a great achievement. He tells Igo that they have done an amazing job and that he's making a killing for the Japanese Football Union. But even with all of the praise, Buratsuta isn't completely happy as he asks Igo why he decided to cut off Nagi, asking Igo if he isn't one of the popular ones. Igo is just cold and collected as he says that it was per the results and that it's all over now. Buratsuta then tells Igo that the social media is full of bring back Nagi and calling Igo mean, explaining that the world is tearing them a new one and that Nagi would be a goldmine of a player. So Buratsuta tells Igo to just let him back to the team and to do some sort of selection or something to bring him back. However, Igo stands his ground as he tells Buratsuta, or the money-grubbing Tanuki as Igo calls him, that he is here to give Japan a World Cup victory. Igo starts to then look completely manic as he says that in this project, he is God, which just hits so insanely hard, I'm not even going to lie. After that, we get to Henri, who's in some sort of press conference, and she explains that they formed Blue Lock, dreaming of being the best in the world. We then see that Aiku and Rin are on Henri's left side, while Isagi and Sendu are on Henri's right side. Henri then continues as she tells everyone there that in Phase 1, they selected 35 players out of 300, and they played against Japan's U20 representative team. And in Phase 2, the Neo Egoist League, their numbers thinned to 23. We see the cameras starting to get active as Henri says that it's finally time for Phase 3, which is the U20 World Cup. We then get a close-up of Sendao, Aiku, Rin and Isagi, as Henri then continues and says that Japan will actually host the U20 World Cup and that 64 countries will participate, the highest number ever. We then get a big panel with both Loki and Kaiser. We then get back to Henri's speech as she says that, starting with Brazil, the soccer kingdom, then there's the German team with Michael Kaiser and England soccer's motherland, and not to mention Spain and Italy as well. We then get to France, the champion country, led by Loki, who also fought in the Neo Egoist League, plus all of the new generation World 11 who will be gathered together. These and other unknown foes will be faced by Blue Lock Japan. She then looks intense as she says that their sights are set on one thing, which is nothing else than total victory. We then get back to Buratsuta, who is starting to get angry and tells Igo not to kid himself and that he is the god, explaining that he haggled with PIFA to let Japan host this year and that he's the one who's been holding up Japanese soccer and that Igo is just a dreamer who got hired by this god. Buratsuta starts to look crazy as he says that this is in order to bring Nagi back. However, Igo is just quiet for a while. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well, before he says that if that's the case, then he will simply just quit, which shocks Buratsuta, but Igo begins to play with his glasses as he says that per his plan, he assembled a team that will represent Japan to win the World Cup, and that he has no intention at all of changing the 23 players that he chose for that, and finally says that Nagi Seishiro isn't needed. However, that's not even all as Igo continues to go in and asks Buratsuta if he and Igo didn't already agree to their promise that Igo could only choose 23 players, and in the end he simply didn't pick Nagi. Igo looks so insanely cold as he says that while he looks right into Buratsuta's eyes, who we can see is only getting more and more furious because of all of this. But we then leave the two of them for a while, as we go over to one of the reporters who asks if it's possible that they will get to see Loki versus Rin or even Kaiser versus Isagi. Continuing and saying that they will get to see Lorenzo and the new generation World 11 face off with the Blue Lock 11, Henri right off the bat says yes, and that the U20 World Cup has primarily been viewed as the World Cup's little brother, a championship tournament for the world's best players younger than 20. Henri then starts to look excited as she says that this time it's different, and that thanks to the Neo Egoist League and the Blue Lock television show, this generation has garnered top-tier attention in all of soccer. Explaining that they can think of this U20 World Cup as being as much of a mega event as the main World Cup. And the reporters are visibly left stunned by that answer, but it doesn't take long until Henri continues and asks everyone if they can feel it, telling them to just look at these players who face world-class players in the Neo Egoist League, and telling all of them there that you can feel that the times are about to change, saying that a World Cup victory for Japan is no longer just a dream, and that now it's time to turn their dream into a reality, which just hits so insanely hard. Sadly, we leave Henri and go back to Buratsuta and Igo, where we see Buratsuta starting to get closer to Igo as he says that it's fine. However, he won't allow any more of this savagery as he goes right to Igo's face and tells him that if they can't win the U20 World Cup, then he's just an egotistical dreamer. Igo sighs, but says that it was the plan all along and that he will win them the U20 World Cup, and then he'll make Japan the center of the soccer world. Buratsuta laughs a bit as he's hearing this and says that if Igo manages to do that, then he will make it the best business asset in the world. We then once again go back to the press conference where we see Henri, who's welcoming Isagi up towards the stage. Isagi walks towards the mic and grabs it before saying that they will win, but he then corrects himself as he did in the U20 match and instead says that he, Yoichi Isagi, will make the U20 World Cup the hottest place for soccer on earth, and just look at how cold he looks right here, like his aura is through the roof. All of the interviewers are also totally ecstatic over hearing this as they begin to take as many videos and photos as they can of Isagi. We then see both Sendu and Aiku, who's smirking after hearing Isagi's words, while Rin just looks emo like always. Before Henri starts to speak up again and tells everyone to please look forward to the start of the new Blue Lock Japan, we then get to the last panel, where we firstly see that it says that there are 47 days until the U20 World Cup, and we then also see Nagi, who's sitting in some sort of arcade while looking totally miserable and just staring at the screen, probably being super sad about all of this. Alright, so the next chapter will be called Patron of Dreams, and there's no break next week, which is awesome. Now for the title, in my leaks video, I speculated about it maybe being Buratsuda who's going to do something with his money, or even Ryo, who might try and help Nagi in some way. However, I also saw a lot of awesome comments speculating about Ray Dark, and that this might be his time to shine, and that he might be able to do something to help Nagi and get him into some other country or something like that. Now I'm still not 100% sold if Nagi will make his comeback or not. However, it feels weird that they would keep on showing Nagi in the series if he wasn't meant to come back, which is why I still feel like there's a pretty good chance for Nagi to make his return some way or another. But please let me know what you think will happen to Nagi, and if he will come back or not. Now lastly, I just need to speak about this insane panel with Isagi. Now I just love Isagi panels because they also look so insanely dope. Just look at him with his aura all around him and saying that he will make the U20 World Cup the hottest place for soccer on earth. That's just wild, and I really think that it's what he will do as I put my full trust in Isagi. Now, sorry for this video being so insanely late. However, I have had really bad internet problems, which is why this video came out so late. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.